My relationship love list saved my marriage. If you're new to this channel, hi, my name is Miss Linda, and I post weekly videos on femininity, seduction, mindset, and everything that you need to elevate your love experiences. Now, I've been married for 10 years, and I underestimated just how much my relationship love list would save our marriage. Now, when we were going through our difficult period and we were now coming back together, I relied on my love list to check whether my husband was really still the man that I desired. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see so many women making, because I work with them on one-on-one coaching and some of them just on DMs and private consultations, every time I ask them, what kind of a man do you desire? What kind of a man do you want? Most of them give me a lot of surface level qualities, and it is usually something as simple as I just want to be loved. And when you dig deeper, you realize many women do not really take the time to think about what kind of a romantic partner they desire. And if you followed me for long enough, you know that I am such a big advocate of being self-aware and being clear in terms of what it is you desire. And that's exactly what your relationship love list will do for you. It will make you become very clear in terms of what kind of a man are you interested in calling into your love life. Now, in my case, when we were separated for 6 months and then we started coming back together, there had to be a basis. There had to be a basis for me going back to the marriage. And what I relied on was not a lot of guesswork. Throughout the period when we were apart, I took time to do inner work and to really get clear in terms of what kind of a life that I saw myself having and what kind of experiences and relationships did I want that were aligned to the kind of life that I wanted. And that is where now I had to sit down and really get clear in terms of what kind of qualities am I looking for in a man for the version of me right now. Yeah, so many times you'll hear women not really putting a lot of emphasis on a love list, or if they do, they put surface level qualities like he should be tall, dark, handsome, and then if they've stretched themselves long enough, they'll probably say they want someone who can provide for them. And then I even go a step further and I ask them, what does providing mean for you? Many of them are not clear. Yeah, so in today's video I want to really talk about what exactly is a love list and how you can use that to call into your life the kind of men and the experiences that you desire. A feminine woman is a very intentional woman. She takes the time to really get clear in terms of what it is that she's looking for in her relationships. Now, the other day, one of my clients asked me, Linda, do men do this kind of work? Do men do a lot of inner work and a lot of soul searching? And I told her that as women, we are the choosers. We are the choosers. A man has to ask you to go on a date. A man has to ask you to be his girlfriend. A man has to ask you to be his wife. Yes, the man is the gatekeeper to the relationship, meaning he has to be the one to initiate, to want to be in a relationship with you. But the fact that he's the one asking you, it means that you decide whether he is the kind of man that you want. And this leads me to the second biggest mistake I see. Women just accepting because a man has proposed to you or because a man wants to take you out, that you just say yes. If you're dating, yes, it makes sense to go on multiple dates, but even at that point where you're saying yes to these men, are they fitting a certain criteria? And that's where your love list comes in. What is this criteria? What is in there? What does it look like? So the fact that once you start to shift your mind to thinking like a chooser, you start to be more intentional in terms of what you're choosing into your life, because you are choosing. Anything you're tolerating, you're choosing. If you're tolerating exchanging numbers with men who probably are not financially stable, or maybe they don't have certain kind of qualifications that you want, and you're still exchanging numbers and flirting with such kind of a guy, you are tolerating, which means you're choosing that kind of experience. Yeah? And all these things have a really huge repercussion. And fast forward to when you get into a relationship, when you get married, throughout all those periods, you will keep changing and you will have to adjust your love list depending on where you are at the moment. Yeah? So the first thing is to really understand, what kind of a man are you looking for? Yeah? Start with looking at this from the point of your values. What do you value? What do you value in your life? Do you value financial stability? Do you value security? Do you value companionship? Do you value growth? Do you value spirituality? Do you value wealth? Do you value success? Do you value learning? What are your values? Because based on your values, that is where now you start to look at, okay, the kind of man I want is a man who is financially stable and he values emotional connection and he values success, for instance, from a value standpoint. Yeah? So your values are really, really important. So take a step back and ask yourself, what are some of your core values? Because this is what represents in your life. For instance, I value creative freedom, I value growth, I value financial stability, and I value security. Those are some of my core values. So if I'm looking for a partner, I'd really want to be with someone who allows me to be creatively free, because that is the kind of life I desire to live, and that's just who I am. Yeah? So I would not match very well with someone who's very narrow-minded and close-minded, no matter how successful they are. Yeah? And it also now goes back to you. Do you also value happiness? Is it a big deal for you to be happy in your romantic life? And like I mentioned, it goes back to you really figuring out what are your values, because that serves as the basis for you choosing the men in your life. Okay. Then now you go back now to looking at physically. What kind of a partner are you looking for? As a woman, I can promise you, after being married for 10 years, I would not put too much emphasis on physical looks. Yeah? Men change. Men evolve. For me, you can grow in love with a man who provides you with whatever it is you're looking for. It does not matter how he looks to a certain extent. Of course, we are not saying you just go and pick any guy who looks anyhow. Yeah? But looks should not be your primary driver. After all, you're a woman. I mean, there's a reason why there's Beauty and the Beast. If you literally think about it, the beast signifies a masculine man. And then beauty is beauty, you as the woman. So for me, I'd rather go for a man who treats me like a princess, who provides for me, who does everything that I desire. And then looks fine, they're subjective. I will grow in love. Yeah? So think about, what kind of looks are you looking for? Think about, so that's physically. Think about emotionally. What kind of a man are you looking for? And we are not looking for people who are perfect, yeah? Because part of the reason why you're in a relationship is so that both of you can continue to grow. However, as the bare minimum, what should this man be like emotionally? Yeah? Many women say they want a man who is mature emotionally, but they themselves are toxic as hell. Are you yourself on the path to doing your inner work? Are you doing your inner growth healing? To the point where if you see a red flag, you're able to turn away from that red flag. Because what I've noticed is so many women say they want an emotionally stable man, yet right now when I'm speaking to them, they're tied up with the most toxic man ever. And every time I would ask the question, why are you with this man? How can you say you want a healthy man, yet you're putting up with someone who ghosts you? He goes missing for 2 months, then he comes back, then ghosts you. And it means you really have not done the inner work that you need to do. And you which means there's still a lot of emotional maturity and growth that you yourself have to go through before you attract this emotionally healthy partner. Because I can promise you, a healthy man is not going to stand being with a toxic woman, especially if it is a man who is really ready and committed to settle down and committed to, elevating himself. He's not going to put up with a lot of toxicity for too long, because remember, these high quality men also need stability. They need a stable woman so that they know that their home front is on check. Now they continue growing and scaling and growing their businesses and continue to provide. Otherwise, if they are having to deal with a very petty, emotionally unstable woman, there's no stability in his home. He will not be able to relax. He will not be able to feel like he can now focus on the one thing. Yeah? So think about emotionally, what kind of a man are you looking for? Mentally, yeah? Let's talk about this. Are you looking for the kind of a man who is a book smart kind of a man? Is he a corporate kind of a man? Is that the kind of man you're looking for? Or are you okay being with a provider kind of businessman who probably doesn't have the Ivy League schooling, but he has all the money? So which kind of mental connection are you looking for? You have to also think about that. Then what about spirituality? How much of a big deal is this? Does he have to be a Christian? Does he have to follow the same religion as you are? Should he be spiritual? Honestly, after being married for this long, most of the times spirituality in a home is usually guided by a woman, yeah? So for me, I mean, yes, it's there. I would like a man who's grounded in something, but it shouldn't have to be like I'm getting somebody who's saved right from the church. For me, that was not one of the things I was looking for. So for you, and it could be different for you, figure out what kind of spiritual level do you want your man to be at. Yeah? So you've looked at this man in all his areas, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Financially, this is really, really important. As women, you need somebody who can be able to look after you. This whole thing of having to build with a man naturally tires women. As women, yes, we do have masculine qualities in us. Yes, we do have that within us. I mean, everyone has testosterone and estrogen. However, you should be operating in your feminine at least 80% of the time. And what does that mean? It means being able to lean into your femininity, being able to receive, being able to use your intuition, being able to relate and build your home. These are some of the softer skills of being a feminine woman. And of course, you will need masculine energy to be able to make you, if maybe you go to work, or maybe if you're having an online business, come and do your business from your house. You need that masculine energy to be able to push you to do things. Yes, that is important. However, you should not be operating in your masculine throughout. And that's why for me, I opted out of my corporate job because it was draining me. I was working 8 hours, sometimes 9, 10, predominantly in my masculine. And it was just too much for me. Health-wise, mentally, I was just tired. And I still have some of my friends who choose to go down that path of, scaling the corporate ladder. And I see how tired they are. So it really is about balancing. And that also then means, what kind of a man are you looking for? Are you okay with having to scale the corporate ladder throughout for the rest of your life? Which means you're okay spending a lot of your time in your masculine, because for sure waking up and going to work all day, every day in the corporate environment is very masculine and it's very draining. And I've done that role and I know what it takes. Yeah, working from home has also its dynamic. However, there's the flexibility of when I really feel like I need a break, I'm able to take it. When I feel I need to spend time with my kids, I'm able to do that. Yeah, so it's up to you to decide. Do you want to spend a lot of your time scaling the corporate ladder, which means what kind of a man are you okay with? Some women, I see them being okay choosing a man who earns less than them. That also again is like one of the worst things I would say, because why would you not want to be with a man who can look after you? And that's where now it comes down to, what are some of these wounded feminine qualities that you're carrying? If you're a woman who really wants to be with a man who is okay, first of all, doing 50-50, who is okay being with a man who earns less than you, somewhere deep within you, you may be having some control issues which you don't want to let go. So probably having a lot of money, which means that you're able to control a lot of things in the dynamic. And that is also another element of wounded feminine. So if you want to stay in your feminine as a woman, for me, my choice was, I work on my online business from the house, and I get the option to choose how I'll spend my day, and being able to give myself the permission to reset and just be in the feminine flow when I need, and when I now need to now actively be in my masculine, when I'm doing my private coaching, when I'm doing my launches, when I'm doing my content creation, I'm able to do that. But I'm doing that from a place of feminine flow. Like I do not have to clock in into an office and be in around that whole toxic masculine energy. So it is up to you to look at what kind of financial qualities are you looking for in a man. Yeah. So once you've listed all these things that you're looking for, ask yourself, this man that you've built up, yeah, this man that you've built up, what kind of a woman would he enjoy? Ask yourself, what kind of a woman would he enjoy? If you're looking for a mentally sharp man, yeah, are you able to sit and him, when he's talking, listen to his conversations? Because yes, you can decide to also be well read, yeah, so that you can be able to sit and listen and enjoy whatever it is that he's talking about. You don't have to know everything that he's doing, but if he's a mentally sharp man, he needs a space where he can let go of that mental sharpness and relax. And he also needs a space where sometimes if he really feels like he needs to, he can be able to come to you and bounce off some ideas. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that you're both at the level where you're going head to head, because remember, it's not like you two are in the office. You're not two managers, like having to discuss things logically, but he should be able to come to you and have a conversation and know that you are listening to him, even if you're not contributing, because most of the times, by the way, men, they don't really need you to contribute and say, what he needs to do. They just need a space to offload. And if you're able to lean in your feminine and create that space for him to offload, at least he's able to relieve himself. Yeah. If you're looking for a provider, are you the kind of a woman who can receive? Many women struggle with receiving. And it starts with small things like, can you receive gifts? Can you receive compliments? Are you able to just relax and allow him to give whatever he needs to give? Are you able to appreciate whatever it is that he gives? Yeah. If you want an emotionally mature man, are you also emotionally mature? Can you have a decent conversation with your man? Are you able to express yourself vulnerably? Are you able to show up in a way that you two are connected? And that means being able to, speak from a feminine place, being vulnerable when you need to be vulnerable. So all the qualities that you've listed in a man, look back and ask yourself, are you a good match for this kind of a man? And then ask yourself, what are some of the areas you need to start working on? Yeah. So that's how you start to build your love list, and then use it as a guide to work on yourself and align yourself towards the kind of a man that you want. If you're in a relationship, this is such a good tool for you to always revisit at least once a year and just check where are you falling off, where you are at. It will give you a really good check for your love life. If you're single, use this to start working towards the kind of men that you're interested in. if you've created a list of a kind of a man who probably is who probably has certain interests, ask yourself, how can you start to place yourself in areas where he's interested? If he's a financial man, are you attending finance kind of related events? If he's a sportish man, are you going to certain sportish events? How are you placing yourself so that you can meet this kind of a man? So let me know if you'll be using these tips, and I offer one-on-one coaching. Check out the details below and get in touch. Yeah, bye for now.